let's talk about this glaive. Yes, this dotting glaive, the Albedo Wing Glaive, the Arc Glaive, where players are farming for the best rolls for endgame content, especially for dungeons or mainly for this video, Grandmaster Nightfalls. Now, glaives might not be the meta every situation, but with the right rolls, you can use this for control and survivability and for DPS. I'm going to be talking about the most popular rolls that everyone is farming for. Then after that, I'm going to be testing some of the popular rolls on a regular Nightfall, and if it's good enough, then I'm going to test it out for the Grandmaster version. Alright, so now we're going to be talking about more about the perks. So I am using the Destiny 2 Fountry. So they are going to be reworking the glaives next season. So I'm not going to talk too much about these perks, but I do want to just show which ones I usually use. Of course, I am using this perk. And we're going to talk a little bit more about the shield duration. But let me just talk a little bit more about it. So for me, I highly recommend shield duration around 40 to 45. Now let me just show you what 45 looks like. So when you get shield duration 45, you get around 11.60 seconds, which is not that bad. It's pretty interesting, pretty good. If you do get shield duration pretty low, let's just pretend we have 20, you get 8.85 seconds shield time, which is not really so great, especially for survivability and control for solo GMs. This could be an issue. Now, let's just pretend that I have enhanced duration. If you have the shield duration up to 55, it is 12.70 seconds. Now, I don't think over 50 is worth it. You can see it didn't really make a huge difference. Not so much. So you don't really need the highest. So I'm going to take this off, but first of all, let me just show you what it looks like 40. So 40 is around 11.5 seconds. You can see that 40 to 45 shield duration is all you need for a glaive. That's all you need. You don't need to go over 50. I mean, if you want to, you can go for it if you're trying to go for a certain build for the dungeon. So we have all these perks. I'm going to go, I'm going to take a look. And of course, I'm going to pick this one. This is my preferred perk. So here are all the perks that we have. We have Grave Robber, Beacon Rounds, Replenishing Aegis, Eddy Current, Strategist, Closing Time, Ait Trigger. And here are the last perks with Desperate Measures, Demolitionist, Lead from Gold, Close to Melee, and Voltshot, and Collective Action. The most popular is the Eddy Current and Voltshot. That is the popular perks that everyone is farming. Or people like Ait Trigger with Voltshot. Or maybe they want to go for Strategist Voltshot. But mainly the popular is Ait Trigger with Voltshot or Eddy Current with Voltshot. Now we got Voltshot. Now for me, I personally prefer Replenishing Aegis with Voltshot or Ait Trigger. And for some players, which I know someone's going to comment, they would prefer Replenishing Aegis with Demolitionist. Another popular perk is Ait Trigger with Close to Melee. Or people would prefer Replenishing Aegis with Close to Melee. You can use Replenishing Aegis or Aegis with the Close to Melee or Ait Trigger. Depends on your playstyle for that. But Close to Melee is the one where it grants 30%, where you do final blows with the glaive, and it improves melee damage. And for the enhanced version, you get +1, you get 1 extra second for the buff duration. Now this perk is really good for dungeons, highly recommend, and it's also really good for Grandmaster Nightfalls when it has a friendly perk such as the Brawn mod. Maybe one day Grandmaster will have a melee mod, which this will pretty much be deadly. So Eddy Current, right? When you are sprinting, you reload your weapons faster. Also, when you are Amplify, it removes the sprinting requirement and increases reload speed by 60%, which will be a nice matchup with Voltshot. But here's the problem with Eddy Current, and this is why I would prefer Ait Trigger with Voltshot over Eddy Current. Now hear me out. See, the problem is if you read very carefully, it says that being Amplify removes the sprinting requirement and increases the reload speed stat by 60. So it is a lot. And then for the enhanced version, it buffs the duration increase. Even stronger effect while Amplify. That means you have to be Prismatic subclass or a Arc subclass to get Amplify, or have someone give you Amplify in a fire team. But the problem is, when you're doing a solo GM, a solo Grandmaster, or a dungeon, no one's gonna give you Amplify if you are in a non-Prismatic or Arc subclass. Who's gonna give you Amplify? A Riven? A champion? The boss? The Scions? Who's gonna give you Amplify when you are doing solo endgame content? Now, I feel Eddy Current's really good for PvE or for just strikes, in my personal opinion. This is why I would prefer Ait Trigger with Voltshot. And the reason why I would say that is, one, Ait Trigger gives you so much ammo. A lot of ammo for the glaive. Two, all you need to do is bunny hop to get fast reload. And the reload for Ait Trigger is insane as well. Now this is the old version, the old Albedo Wing Glaive. And you can see it's extremely different. So the perks that I'm going to be using is Replenishing Aegis with Attrition Orbs. Now let's take a look at the enhance. We already know that you get fill reduce for the Replenishing Aegis, but what about the Attrition Orbs? Let me just talk a little bit more about it. Dealing sustained damage creates slightly improved orb of power. And it says here improve orb of power. So that means that this, when you pick up an orb, it's going to give more than a regular orb of power, super energy. It says here that scoring multiple hits against enemies within 5 seconds, each spawns an orb that grants 1.1 super energy. Listen to this. Does not require direct hits. Isn't it crazy that the glaive, imagine you are using Replenishing Aegis and you're just shooting non-stop, by the way, because enemies are shooting on you and you're getting reserves and you are blocking with the glaive bubble. And not only that, you are using Attrition Orbs. And then you slowly move to get the orb, then you get so much super. Then you could just pop your super and then clear the ads. And then just keep using your glaive over and over. I mean, imagine that. I think this is one of the most interesting roles. And I was testing this out on a GM, and it's actually not that bad. So we're going to be testing out this perk, with the one with Replenishing Aegis with Attrition Orbs. We're going to test that out. And then I'm going to tell you my personal opinion. So I am testing out the Ait Trigger. And like I said, when you are using Ait Trigger, you can jump and then reload your weapon really fast. I think Ait Trigger is actually not so bad for solo GMs. You just have to get used to bunny hop and then reload your weapon. I mean, for me personally, I still prefer Replenishing Aegis over Ait Trigger, especially for endgame content like you can see here in this footage, where I ran out of ammo and I have to reload my weapon and then I just get one shot. You see what I mean? Ait Trigger versus Replenishing Aegis. And you can see that when you're jumping, you get the Ait Trigger. Pretty interesting, right? And then you get extra seconds for the enhanced Voltshot. You can see I'm reloading, I'm getting Voltshot, and then the Voltshot's gone. Yeah, didn't know about that. Right? When you use one little itty bullet, when using Voltshot, it's gone. You start all over again. See, for a GM, what if they're tanky or spongy? Then your Voltshot's gonna be completely useless. I mean, I know for dungeons it's a little different, but I'm talking about endgame content for GMs. This is not even a Grandmaster version. Now think about it. If Voltshot is not doing good enough damage on advanced version, how the Bungie is Voltshot going to be good for GMs such as with Oscillation? I mean, think about it. It's not doing so good on a regular Nightfall. How is it going to be for a Grandmaster version or a Master version? Because Master Nightfall is basically the same as Grandmaster. I mean, think about that. So far, it's not looking so good. Voltshot, not looking so good. It is not winning. It's not winning. Not looking good. Alright, so now we're going to be doing some more of, we're going to be shooting Glaive with Voltshot and Ait Trigger. Try to see if I can get some DPS. But you can see I'm out of ammo. I gotta jump and reload. Gotta bunny hop. And I'm low on health. Gotta reload. And then I reload. I got Voltshot. And then I need to reload. Gosh, Voltshot's really good, right? I mean, I guess it could be good for dungeons, but... Alright, so I did enough testing of Ait Trigger and Voltshot. I mean, we already know it's not gonna be the best. Alright, so let's just check out Eddy Current. So Eddy Current is when you're sprinting, you reload. You can see here, I reload a little faster. But this is when you're not Amplify, alright? When using Eddy Current, you have to sprint. But sometimes you don't even have time to sprint. When you have Amplify, you can reload really fast. But like I said, you have to be Amplify for this perk to work. But you can see that I did have Eddy Current, and it just wasn't fast enough without Amplify. I have Eddy Current, I reload, and then this guy Sly, he does the moonwalk, and then he hops away. Even this Cabal doesn't think Eddy Current's that great. Eddy Current is just not good. Without Amplify, it's Bungie. Alright, I'm sorry, Eddy Current. And it looks like Eddy Current is just not good enough for Grandmaster Nightfalls. I'm not going to test this for Grandmaster Nightfall, so sorry, Eddy Current. Your credibility is just not there for me. So that's off of my list. So far, the ones I'm going to test out is Ait Trigger and Voltshot. I'm going to test out the other perks. Alright, so I am testing out the close to melee, so I'm going to take down one ad, then I get close to melee. Not bad. Pretty decent. This is just a normal Nightfall. Alright, looks like it's good. Not bad. Close to melee. Looks like it extends every time I take down ads. Pretty cool. Let's do more testing. But you can see close to melee is a little too risky. And I would say close to melee is really good for dungeons and is good for friendly modifiers for Grandmaster, such as the Brawn mod, where you can get more health. So it can be a little risky when using close to melee perk. Overall, close to melee is really good with Ait Trigger or Replenishing Aegis. For me, I personally prefer Replenishing Aegis with close to melee. That's just me. If I really feel like using Ait Trigger just to get more ammo, then I go for that too. So now we're going to test out this interesting perk. Now, they don't have this perk for this season. It is the Replenishing Aegis with Attrition. Now we're going to test this out on a regular Nightfall. Not Grandmaster yet, just to see which ones are the best to test out. Alright, so I am testing it out. I am getting orbs with Attrition. So I am using Replenishing Aegis, so I can use the Glaive. And I am getting orbs, especially with the artifact mods that I'm using as well. I'm getting a ton of orbs. A lot of orbs. Alright, so now I'm just clearing all these ads, replenishing Aegis with attrition. Like, wow, look at that. My goodness, look how much orbs I got. That's crazy. Compared to a regular orb and then a super orb, you're getting so much for your super. We're going to try different tests. We're going to keep using attrition mod. Look at that. I keep getting orbs. So far I am just spamming my glaive. I could use my super, but I do want to just show off the attrition orbs. But you can see, look at that. Look at those orbs. Look at those orbs. That is crazy. Definitely see potential for attrition orbs. Especially if you want to make a lot of orbs and you just want your super right away, or a certain build to get your prismatic power right away. It's insane. So I'm going to be testing the top 3, the top perks. And the top perks is going to be Replenishing Aegis, Voltshot, Ait Trigger, and Attrition. The top perks that had potential. Now, closing melee has potential, but the problem is that there are certain mods like Oscillation that the glaive could have an issue with close to melee because of the debuff. For example, I do prefer glaives on friendly mods for Grandmaster, such as the Brawn mod, for example. And close to melee is really good for dungeons, so definitely try it out. But I'm not going to use close to melee for the Grandmaster tests. But you can see that Voltshot does have potential, but the problem is you only get Voltshot for just one shot of your glaive. Like, it's not consistent. It's not like, oh, you have 6 seconds to jolt everything. Spoilers of the other perk I'm talking about. But you see what I mean of Voltshot not being the best for endgame content? It could be good for dungeons. Yes, I understand that. I totally understand. Endgame content such as Grandmasters, it's just not there. It's decent, but not good enough for survivability and control. And I'm using Replenishing Aegis with Voltshot. So you can see that, yeah, it has the potential depending if it has surges. It really depends of the Grandmaster mods. If it has friendly mods, then the Voltshot could work. Voltshot is okay, and I am using the tonic bottle as well to blind enemies with the glaive. If I get Voltshot, that's the problem. There's just so many ads. I mean, do I really have time to reload on this situation? You see what I mean? I reload my weapon and I got bungeed. That's why I say Voltshot's not the god roll for endgame content. No one's gonna believe me, but it's true. The Replenishing Aegis with attrition. Now let's see if this is better than Voltshot. So I am testing out the glaive. I got 2 orbs. I got another orb. I got another orb because of the artifact mods mixed with the attrition orbs. We got a Drainer Bane. Alright, so now I'm going to be taking down the ads. I got Aura Power. Or Power. Just keep spamming my glaive. I'm getting my orbs back, but you can see that I'm getting my super back way more faster. And if I had certain fragments build, I could have get it much more. But yeah, I am getting a ton of orbs. I mean, look at that. Aura Power, and I'm going to get another one very soon. And I just keep reloading my weapon automatically because of the Replenishing Aegis. But wow, look at that. I already got my super already. Very soon. Just need to pick up those orbs if I get a chance. But yeah, no excuses. Proof that Replenishing Aegis is just better for solo GMs. I mean, look at this. I'm just backing away. And of course, I am using my finisher as well. You can see there is survivability and control. The perk that I'm using is Attrition, so I'm getting a lot of orbs. But what is the god roll for this perk? Well, here's the problem. The god roll perks is just not available this season, unfortunately. And I do want to talk about this. People are complaining that they should have made this Arc Glaive into a Stasis Glaive, and I disagree with them. Now, yes, we could get Cold Steel Glaive. Yes, that would be really cool. But we already have a Stasis Glaive with Chill Clip, but we don't have a really good Arc Glaive. Voltshot is not the god roll for the glaive, and I wish they didn't put Voltshot for this glaive. I wish they put a different perk. Bungie should have added, instead of Voltshot, is the Jolting feedback perk. Yes. Hear me out before you comment. I know someone's gonna comment and say, no, Voltshot's better than Jolting feedback. No, I done some testings on other weapons that has Jolting feedback, and Jolting feedback is actually better than Voltshot. A glaive with Replenishing Aegis with Jolting feedback will probably be the best roll, the god roll for our glaive. Alright, imagine that. Imagine using a glaive bubble, having your ammo back over and over, and you are using the tonic bottle with the artifact mods, so you blind the enemies and then jolt the champions. So your glaive can jolt enemies. And not only that, your glaive with jolting feedback can stagger overload champions because of the jolt. You can blind enemies with the glaive as well with the jolting feedback and with the tonic bottles that we have for this season. It would be probably the best glaive ever for the Arc. Why are players complaining about this glaive, this Albedo Wing Glaive? Should have been a Stasis weapon. I disagree. It should be a Arc Glaive, and it should have jolting feedback over Voltshot. Voltshot is horrible on Grandmaster GM. It's not that great. Replenishing Aegis with jolting feedback glaive is the best. Now the second best for now. Now let me just talk about for now. I will repeat myself. For now, the best for endgame content for Grandmaster Nightfall is the Replenishing Aegis with Demolitionist, with Demo, because you can get your grenade back on kills. If you do have the Dawning Glaive from last season with Replenishing Aegis with Attrition, well, you're in luck. You should just use that weapon for now until they have an Arc Glaive with jolting feedback. Because right now they don't have it. It's unfortunate. They should have had it. It would have been the best, most fun weapon to use for solo GMs, for endgame content, for dungeons. It would just be so fun. Alright, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.